I learned English on my own at home. Yeah, in just 1 year, I managed to become fluent. And many people said I wouldn't be able to speak English. There were all those voices trying to hold me back. But I said, hey, hold on. I am different. I already understand how the mind works, and I simply started to dive into English. No financial support, no expensive courses, no exchange programs, just dedication, focus, and a lot of practice. English is easy, just like any other language, but it has to become a habit. Simply, it will only feel easy when you turn it into something you practice every single day. And nowadays, things are even easier, like with artificial intelligence, you have access to personalized learning, instant translations, conversation practice, and endless resources all in your pocket. You don't need to wait for a teacher or a classroom, bro. The world is your classroom now. So speak a little every single day. Make mistakes, repeat. That's how fluency is built. Not overnight, but through consistency. If you truly want it and you are willing to show up daily, the language will naturally become part of you. And what does it mean to be fluent? Being fluent doesn't mean knowing everything. It means being able to communicate with confidence. For example, I'm fluent in Portuguese, right? But that doesn't mean I know every word in the dictionary. And that's totally okay. Fluency is about understanding, speaking, expressing yourself, and living the language. Now, my goal is to help my community, especially those who think it's impossible to learn English without money, realize that yes, it is possible. And more than that, it's necessary. You need to improve your English, not just to have a strong resume, but because English opens doors. When you travel abroad, English connects you. When you want to read the best book, watch the best content, or study at top universities, English is there. But it's not just about the outside world, it's about how you see yourself. Learning English boosts your confidence, your self-esteem, and your view of the world. It is a step toward freedom, the freedom to choose, to go further, to connect with people from all over the planet. You feel me? And I am making this video to keep practicing because the journey never stops, and also to help you. So if you truly want to learn English, stick with me. It's going to be tough sometimes, I know, but it will be worth it. And remember, it doesn't matter where you started, what matters is where you want to go. If you have got this desire, if you have got this discipline, this faith, the impossible becomes part of your training. So let's do it. I'm not going to speak much Portuguese here because I believe you can understand what I'm saying. And if you don't, just look up the translation or abbreviations in your native language. And so before starting your journey to learn English, I recommend that you choose which type of English you want to focus on. For example, I personally prefer American English because after some research, I found the accent, vocabulary, culture more interesting. But there are other types of English too, like British, Australian, or Canadian English, and each has its own unique features. Understanding which style of English fits you best will help you stay motivated and focused during the learning process. It also affects how you practice, from the videos you watch to the content you read or podcasts you listen to. So once you have figured that out, the next step is to dive into daily practice. So don't wait to be perfect before you start speaking. Start with what you know. Fluency comes with time, with mistakes, with repetition, and with persistency. I'm going to guide you. The little I know, I will share with you, and you will learn how to pronounce words correctly right here. So listening to conversations in English really helps improve your pronunciation. But don't just listen passively. Repeat out loud, imitate the sounds, and try to copy the rhythm and tone of native speakers. At first, it might feel awkward or even frustrating. That's normal. But with consistency, your mouth will get used to the new sounds and your confidence will grow. Start small, practice a few words each day, record yourself, compare, and keep going. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be clear enough to be understood. With time, your pronunciation will improve naturally and speaking will feel more natural. So trust the process, and remember, I'm here to help. Let's grow together. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I see you in the next one. Peace.